Hello class, this is Tom Simmons coming to you from Shelburne Falls, Massachusetts, the day after the blizzard. And you're probably looking at me and saying, oh my God, this man is crazy. But let me tell you something. Every entrepreneur who ever had a dream, who invented something new, who said, I'm going to do something totally new and wild that's going to capture the imagination of the world, was told that they were crazy. In Finland, business meetings are held in saunas. People get naked, they roll around in the snow, they jump in an icy river, and they go back to the sauna. It is a standard cultural practice. Here in Massachusetts, we have the highest concentration of people of Finnish ancestry of anywhere in the United States. Now, do you think there might be a market for a winter resort that featured saunas? Maybe. Still think I'm crazy? Yeah, I probably am, because I'm an entrepreneur. Let's go inside and we'll talk a little bit more about this. Okay, well, we're back inside now, where it's a little bit warmer, and where you're not going to sit there shaking your head at me and freezing, because I'm sitting out in the 15-degree weather. But I wanted to use that to introduce the concept of entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurs are so often seen as a little bit off-center. Entrepreneurs are risk takers. Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Walt Disney, all incredible, incredible business people who built themselves empires. Not one of them finished college. They took a different road. They had a dream, they had an idea, and they couldn't wait. And very often entrepreneurs, the successful entrepreneurs, are very much like that. I've seen some studies that suggest that the most successful entrepreneurs are not the typical straight A studious student out of school. Because very often that student is too worried about getting everything right and about doing the right thing. Very often entrepreneurs, if they have graduated from school, are the C students. They're the ones who are balancing 25 different things at once, and a lot of things slip through the cracks, and they fly by the seat of their pants, and they get it done anyway. Dina Mahajer was a law school student in California some 10 years ago. She had a great future ahead of her, and she made her own nail polish because she didn't like the colors that were available. When the sales clerk at Neiman Marcus saw the neon colors that Dina had on her fingers, they asked her to make some of this for them. And she did, and in one day, 20 bottles sold out. Within a few weeks, Dina Mahajer had left law school, and her entire apartment, her and her boyfriend, transformed their entire apartment into a factory for making neon-colored nail polish. It took over their life. They had nail polish bottles in the kitchen, in the living room, in the bedroom. They were using ketchup bottles to mix the polish and put it into the bottles. They had jelly rings that they were putting on the top of the nail polish bottles, and her dog was eating them and choking on them, and they had all of these medical issues going on. It took over their life. And so I often laugh when I hear a student say that they want to go into business for themselves because they want to have control over their own hours. Don't believe that for a second. Because if that's what you want to do, if you want to open up your own business and you intend on living on that business and that business alone, and you've got the drive and the dream to make it happen, chances are it's going to take over your life, and you're not going to have those extra hours. And Dina Mahajer and her nail polish, which became known as hard candy, is a classic example of that. It also means taking risk and doing things in just very, very different ways. When I opened up my Celtic pub restaurant, the Cayley House in New Hampshire, We created a different type of restaurant. We had no waiters and no waitresses. And I modeled this on what I saw when I went to a trip to Ireland. People simply came up to the bartender and placed their order. The bartender either cooked it right there behind the bar or yelled into the kitchen who cooked it. And then when the dinner or the lunch was ready, it was brought out to the bar. The bartender called the people by name. They came up and got their food. That's the model we used. But we extended it. We extended it to the point where our regular customers became almost like private club members. They came in and arranged or rearranged the tables as they saw fit to accommodate them and their friends. If things got backed up, they jumped in and helped wash dishes. One of my favorite stories is how we had a new diner come in one day, and she came up to the bar after she had been there a while, and she said, "Excuse me, sir, the women's room is out of toilet paper." And one of our regular patrons at the bar turned to her and said, "Oh, come here, honey, let me show you where they keep that." And she took her to the supply closet and showed her how to refill the toilet paper. Now that may sound kind of crazy, but what we had was a clientele who saw our restaurant pub as their private club. And they were loyal, and they were always there. It was a different model. Was it a little crazy? Sure it was. Did it consume every waking minute that I had? Yes, it did. Was I there until 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning, even if we closed at midnight, because cash had to be counted and I had to check the level of gas in the tanks for the beer taps, and we had to clean Of course. It takes over your life. Most successful entrepreneurs are a little crazy like that, and their business will take over their life. But simply because you let that happen, and simply because you have that drive, and simply because you have that excitement, doesn't mean you'll succeed. And as I've said before, the majority of businesses in America are small businesses. The majority of new jobs are created by small businesses. But the vast majority of new businesses that are started will fail within about 6 years. And a true entrepreneur has to be willing not only to take the risk, but to fall down, pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and start all over again without being depressed or having regrets about what happened. Instead, you learn and you go on. Small businesses fail really not for many reasons, but for a very few number of reasons that we see constantly over and over contributing to the downfall of a small business. 1, the lack of startup capital. Businesses always need more money than they believe they need in the beginning, because you need to have money or cash in the business to keep it going until you can turn a profit. 2, many small business people and many entrepreneurs make the mistake of thinking that they have all the skills they need to run the business. And I don't know of a single person who has all those skills. I don't know anyone who is great at being a people person and research and development and marketing and operations and finance and all of the other aspects that go into creating a business. If you have a team of people, experience shows that you are much more likely to succeed in that business. And you've got to be able to put some ego aside and say, I can't do it all. I need help in this area. Third reason that many small businesses fail is because the entrepreneur believes that they've got a great product. They are convinced it is the best products in sliced bread. But the world doesn't think so. There's a lot of competition out there. The world is your competition. And even if your product is as great as you believe it is, you've got to be able to convey that to potential customers. And that means finding the likely potential customers, identifying them. It means getting your message before them in a way that is cost effective and isn't just throwing empty dollars away on advertising that's reaching God knows who, when, and where. And then executing sales, providing customer service, and encouraging repeat customers. Many small business people don't understand that aspect of marketing, and that's why in the last third or so of this course, we spend a lot of time talking about how to brand your product, how to place it before the consumer, and how to execute those sales. So, this particular section, this lesson, is going to be devoted to small business in America, entrepreneurship in America. I'm going to give you an opportunity to interview a small business owner of your choice about what it's like to be a small business owner, and to try and operate a small business day by day. And there'll be discussion boards as always, and we'll be reading chapter 5 in the text. So keep that image in mind of me out in the blizzard, being an entrepreneur, because if you're an entrepreneur, you've got to be a little bit crazy, and the world will say you're a little bit crazy. Nothing else works.